How's everybody doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
What was your reaction to getting an invitation to spring training and sort of looking forward to what that might be like?
I was thrilled when I found out. I was actually eating lunch, and I got called into the office. I thought I was in trouble, and I started thinking about everything I've done. I was like, I don't know what I did. But then I found out I was invited to big league camp, and I was thrilled. I was like, heck yeah! It was one of my goals that I set before this past season, was to be invited to the fall league and then also to be invited to big league camp after the season. So having accomplished both of those, it was a big moment yesterday finding out. I told everybody, told my family, and everybody was really excited for me.
How different do you feel going into this season compared to a year ago?
I definitely feel more confident. Having the success that I had last year, it's definitely something that I want to base this season off of. I want to hit the ground running. And the previous years before last year, I had some ups and downs. I had some times of success. I had some times of struggles. But I didn't have the consistency that I wanted. And I feel like I found that a little bit last year. I figured out myself as a player. I grew up a lot, matured as a player and as a person. I think that helped me a lot on the field. And this season, I'm looking forward just to grow even more as a player and as a person as well. I mean, there's still a lot to learn. I'm working at first base as well, so that's something else I'm looking forward to. It's going to be just another opportunity for me to grow as a player for sure.
How are you finding that balance between third base and first base?
It was definitely an easier transition than shortstop to third base. Both of them are on the corner, so the angles off the bat and in-game reads are pretty similar. So the transition was definitely a little bit easier, but a lot of it's just getting the in-game reps and getting more comfortable. I don't know the exact amount of games that I played in Arizona at first base, but I played a decent amount to where I got comfortable.
Was that the biggest kind of takeaway from Arizona in terms of just what you were able to work on there was first base?
It was definitely a big takeaway from Arizona. Getting to play with all those guys from different organizations, getting to play, it's an elite competition, as everybody knows. So getting to work with those guys every day, play against that competition, and just be able to kind of compare yourself to those players, it was definitely a special experience. But like you said, getting to play first base, it was my first time playing first base in the game. I had taken some ground balls and some, I guess you could call it early work, just learning how to play the position. But having gotten to play actual in-game reps and getting used to playing actual live reads off the bat, the in-game situations with cutoffs, pickoffs, and things like that, it was definitely a big opportunity.
How close do you starting to feel like you're getting to the major leagues now?
I'd like to say I feel like I'm pretty close. I'm significantly closer than I felt like I was last year. Obviously, that's not up to me, and it's not really something that I can control and say, hey, I'm ready. So that's not really something I worry too much about. Obviously, it's been my lifelong goal to play in the big leagues, but whenever I get that opportunity, I'm definitely going to take advantage of it.
You said you had matured as a player going into last year. How do you think you handled everything mentally last year and getting that day-to-day?
That was one of the biggest things, was the mental aspect of it, being able to handle the failure that came and being able to separate it day-to-day, at bat to at bat, pitch to pitch, where I was able to be aware of my swing, be aware of myself as a player, and be able to say it's over and just move forward. Like, even though I had the success I had last year, there were some days I went over 4, I had multiple strikeouts, whatever. I mean, you're going to have bad days, so just being able to mature in that aspect and learn how to handle it, it was very key to my consistency.
How hard is that?
It's not the easiest thing. If it was easy, I mean, guys would just do it off the bat. But one of the things that's coming from high school, there wasn't much failure. So coming into pro ball was something that I had to learn, was how to handle the failure, whether it was a little small portion where it was like a bad day, a bad week, a bad series. But being able to learn how to cope with that, being able to grow from it, or be able to flush it and just start over the next day, was something that I had to learn. And that is something that helped me stay more consistent this year. I didn't have a bad day and try to search for a change or what was wrong. I mean, sometimes a pitcher has a good day, sometimes you just have a bad day. So it was being able to learn that a bad day doesn't mean there's something wrong. It's just being able to know myself as a player and know my swing.
What do you feel you're gaining out of this week, just kind of being here?
One of the biggest things is, interacting with y'all is a major thing. Getting to know how the media works. I mean, Boston, it's a sports city. I mean, we went to the Celtics game last night, so I got to see how the fan base was. I mean, it was an exciting game. I'm not sure if you saw it, but it was crazy. I love basketball, so I was fired up. I was screaming the whole time. But just getting to see how the city works, and then being in Fenway, getting to see the clubhouse and how everything is ran, get to know the staff. And everything about just how things would go once I get up here, it's been helpful. I mean, the transition from minor leagues just to make your debut in the big leagues, it's going to be a big opportunity. There's going to be a lot going on. So just being a little more familiar with 1, 2, 3 things, it's going to be a huge help whenever I do make my debut.
Did you take any pride in being the top position player prospect in the organization? Is that like a prideful thing?
There is some pride there. I mean, that's something I try not to concern myself with too much. I mean, I've never heard of somebody being, say, the #1 prospect and be like, well, he's the #1 prospect, let's call him up. So, I mean, that's not really something I try to concern myself with. It's definitely something that's notable, and it's a it's an accomplishment. But in regards to a confidence booster or a major key, I don't really concern myself with it too much. It's definitely something that's nice to know, and I guess you could say it makes you feel a little better, but it's not a major thing for me.